As was said in this meeting earlier, the amount of information that we used to gather in months, we are gathering in hours and days. This situation is so unique because in times of great strife, we are set to come together. Our instinct is to come together. And this isn't my original thought, but it is 100% true, and I appreciate the opportunity to communicate it, that in this specific moment with COVID-19, the best way to come together is by staying away from each other. And that is a unique concept, and it's not an easy concept. But quite honestly, we have to come together to combat this by staying away. And I commend council for meeting tonight because there was important business to be done. I commend the social distancing that's taking place in this room. I think that it's right and appropriate for the matters at hand. And I would offer this. There are a few points I'd like to speak on tonight. One is COVID-19. I can say this confidently. One of the few things I can confidently say, none of us have experienced this before. None of us have experienced anything like this before. So our opportunity to offer meaningful reassurances are slim, but I will offer you this. There's no reason to panic. We will get through this together, and we're all going to come out the other side of this in much better long-term condition than we came into. So there is no panic. There's no panic from the police. I sense no panic from the manager. I sense no panic around this room. But I recognize there is panic in our community. And I would offer this, that you have great people working very hard to mitigate the dangers and the concerns that our community members have. I'll tell you just how fast information is flowing these days. On March 10th, I drafted a letter to our young adult and student resident population. And in that letter, in advance of warmer weather, and it was a warmer weather partnership letter, I had said, in the coming weeks will present us all with the opportunities to gather and celebrate warmer weather, while at the same time representing Indiana and IUP with pride. And I said, that is not a mutually exclusive idea. Well, today is March 17th, and I'm telling you this, and I'm emphatically communicating this. There can be no responsible gatherings in this moment in time. We cannot come together and represent Indiana or the university or the young adult population in a positive way by celebrating and holding large gatherings in this moment in time. This is very difficult to predict. It's even more difficult to manage. Police officers cannot avoid contact. We are in contact with people daily, hourly. Every increase in police contact, not only, importantly, every increase in police contact creates an opportunity for us to be a transmitter of COVID-19 inadvertently to a vulnerable population. I am not solely concerned about the health and well-being of police officers or borough employees. What we should be concerned about are healthy people who are asymptomatic, transmitting COVID-19 to a vulnerable population. So when a group of us or a group of, and I'll say young adults because we're at IUPATI time of year, if we were to meet and we were to engage in non-social distancing and we were to engage in celebrations, this even amongst our healthy population, and I am not a doctor or medical professional, but I know this from everything that I have learned in the months of information that we've been achieving in the moment of hours and days, that we're putting our neighbors and our friends at risk, and that cannot be allowed. So there cannot be a responsible gathering this weekend. Every gathering in the borough is going to be irresponsible, and I mean that from the term perspectives of a celebratory event. To further elaborate this point, there's an increased police presence this weekend that was already arranged. There are also, the hospital is staffed for matters of COVID-19. They are not equipped for matters of COVID-19 and matters of intoxication, and matters of injury from inadvertent falls, and matters of clearances for incarceration purposes. The emergency room at this period of time, at this moment of time, must operate to deal with truly sick individuals, not our population who has had too much celebration. And every contact, again, that we have requires a transport, requires a contact. There are people coming back from spring break, and there's nobody to blame for this. and I expect our student population to step up, and our young adult population, because this just isn't a student matter. I expect and have full confidence that our young adult population will step up and do everybody proud and represent Indiana and IEP well by not engaging in celebratory activities this weekend. I cannot overstate the potential danger to our vulnerable populations by us getting together and being irresponsible in this moment in time. So, in regards to the potential for the unofficial, unsanctioned, and social media driven celebratory events of IU Patty Weekend, which has nothing to do with Indiana University of Pennsylvania being a sanctioned event, this is an opportunity for us to come together from separate locations and do this community and each other and our families proud. This is far beyond a police matter. This is far beyond a medical emergency matter. This is a community matter, and it takes a village. It's going to take a village staying away from each other this time, which is a very unique concept. But I would end by saying this. I am absolutely certain that we're never given more than we can handle. I am absolutely certain that we will all come out of this on the other end, and this will be something that we'll talk about how we handle this moment of history. And everyone around this room, and everyone employed from the borough, and everyone associated with the borough is here in this unique moment of time for a reason. And we may not know it now. We may not know it a few months from now, but I appreciate the opportunity to be with you, and I'm going to even more appreciate the opportunity to get away from you. But that should be what we embrace at this point in time. So everything I say from the heart and of utmost importance. I cannot offer a more impassioned plea that there cannot be a responsible gathering this weekend. There cannot be a responsible gathering next weekend. So these are not mutually exclusive ideas. I was a tone-deaf response 7 days later from a good intention that I had with this letter. The only responsible thing we can do is to stay away and isolate, not for ourselves, but for the vulnerable populations of Indiana Borough. And I'm confident that the young adult population is going to step up, and I thank them in advance. Sorry, I have nothing